Hello, today is June 25 and I've lost track of the days. So it's hot today. It's very hot today. I have a friend joining me, Butter. You gonna come up and say hello? Today's been hot and I was like, oh, I'm coming home. I had the energy to feel like I'm ready to make the first official video for this YouTube channel and to talk about kind of like what is Haizhen and all of this. And then like it was so hot. I like walked outside for a little bit. It's like what, like almost 30 degrees today and super humid. And I guess I had to be outside and I melted a little bit. So I'm like, I fell asleep. I took a bit of a nap and now I'm just chilling right now. Um, and it's one of those things where I'm like, okay, I'm going to give myself a little bit of a pause and let's revisit kind of doing something more. Let's do that video another day, maybe tomorrow or something else. And today, let's just chill. Let's hang out together for a little bit. I did have a interesting thought. I was thinking about the idea of states versus processes. It's this idea that I really love because um, I was thinking of like states versus processes to me is kind of like this it's a spectrum or like a kind of duality, like the two things that we can observe in our experience. We either look at things that are like states, forms, and labels that that we identify, and we're saying like this is this thing at this present time, and then there's the process of things unfolding that kind of like change and adapt over time. Like it's like this process of something that happens. And I started thinking about this when I first was really considering the Tao Te Ching about like what is the Tao, because the Tao is like basically a word that represents everything. Everything that is in existence is the Tao, and if it can be named, it's not the Tao. And if it can be named, then it's a label that we've assigned to form, and it's kind of created. And both of those things, whether it's like a form, a label that we have made, it's a state that we've identified, and it doesn't exist in the truest sense because we've just we've just called it to exist. And then if we look at the broader picture of this process, when we're identifying things as process, um, the we can't observe ever the full process. We could kind of list out the steps and all of that, but at any point we are only ever able to observe like a slice or a piece of that process. And I think that duality is like really interesting because, especially like sitting here thinking about creating Heizen, it's this state that I've named. It's this thing that I'm looking to put together, then that's coming together as a state. But like it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. It's like happening. Something is going on. Um, and I'm doing my best to put it into form, to create this thing that I can hold out and show you, show the world, show everybody that this is Heizen. And then at the same time, it's a process because I know right now the state that it actually is in, which is like there's a whole bunch of like thoughts and ideas and things that have come together, and I'm articulating them. And the more and more that I try to like understand what that is or articulate what that is, the more that I realize it's still a process of becoming. And I think that being able to hold both of those things becomes really important to understand and observe like the two sides of that coin, because at the same time that it doesn't exist, it also exists in the idea that it's like happening. So when I think about that, that gives me that flexibility. And it's almost a reminder of saying that whatever state, whatever process that I'm in, the answer is yes. I had a thought, and I was talking to a friend of mine, and I was talking about just like understanding like the different perspectives that people can hold. And usually there's two sides of things, right? Like good, bad, um, good and bad, let's say, on a broad scale. And just thinking about like reality in general, of like what all of our experiences are. And if I were to look at experience and classify the way that people um, approach how um, they experience reality, there's two broad categories of yes and no. And oftentimes that really defines the kind of types of experience that you'll have. It'll define like how you move through the world. And like broadly speaking, like yes and no, it's like that idea of like, are you being um, like broad and accepting of your experience, or are you kind of in this other mode of saying like rejecting your experience? You can think of it as like a positive experience or a negative experience. And really, these two broad categories of experience are really yours to choose from. You can switch from one to another. And when you switch from like a no mindset, which is kind of saying like no, but kind of like rejecting the outside, rejecting anything that didn't come from you, and trying to say that, think that my perspective is the only one that is truly valid, and I'm going to reject everything else. It becomes a very closed and fixed mindset. It keeps you into a state, and it kind of makes the state more real. It kind of fixes you down and down and down, and you will find that you'll get stuck. It's a very difficult place to be. On the other hand, if you can have a yes and attitude, then you're constantly expanding, you are accepting of things, and you're able to hold the truth, the dual sides of truth, where my truth exists, what I experience exists, and your experience exists as well. And to be able to be in a place where you can hold both of those things becomes very important when you want to understand how you yourself can experience your own authenticity, your own specific identity. So this is like where all of this work is moving towards, is not only like helping you identify what you to identify clearly who you are at your core, to understand what that is. It's also about being able to accept your experiences, of saying like, I have had experiences, or I have worked from a place that was not aligned with my design, and to be okay with that and accept the fact that I can have that experience of like working against myself, and having that experience that's less than ideal for myself, and then being able to accept that I actually have this other experience that's much more aligned to myself, and not to fight against those two things. Being able to move through things like that will help you not only be more comfortable and confident in yourself, it will also help you connect with others as well, to be open to um, other perspectives and other attitudes. I think one of the most difficult things for me, as I like reflect back on how, like, where I was before and where I am now, is to understand that idea that I can have a certain experience, and also that experience may not have been the way for other people. It doesn't mean that other people have to accept my way. What it does mean, though, is that it's important for me to understand when somebody else is just able to witness my truth, to say that I see you, I hear the experience that you've experienced, and to be okay with that. And when they can be accepting of that, then I can be accepting of, I mean, like, I don't need that from other people, but when both sides of the equation are accepting of each other, then that's where you can have mm, people coming together. So I think like these types of insights are the ones where I think are so important to shift the idea of where we each think we are, because I think our world and oftentimes our society and cultures um, kind of put us in a position to feel like we have to um, be something, make something of ourselves. We have to be number one. We have to be the most right. We have to be the most correct. Um, and at the same time, you can be the most correct for yourself and also the most wrong that you've ever been in your whole life. Um, it would be nice if I could qualify that with an example, but like I said earlier, I'm like melting and just kind of vibing today. So just, I think what all of that says to me is to give myself the space to feel through the things that I need to feel, to be okay with the place that I am at right now, and to know that I'm not defined by where I am right now. Um, I am a constant work in motion, a constant progress. That's kind of constant progress and process that's continuing to unfold, and that change is so important, to be able to go through and experience that and witness that for myself. So I'm gonna keep going because there are times when it's easy to pause and look at what's happening and just be like, I don't know what's going on. Actually, I should say that today I have uploaded my first video up onto YouTube, so kind of officially launching my channel into the universe, and it was exciting. It was pretty cool to think, right? Like this is something that I've been preparing. Like today's probably like day 13 or 14 and something like that. Um, and I've been thinking about this for even much longer. So today I've launched and put that into space. And while today marks the first day of that, I know that it's not the end state. It's going to continue to change and evolve and continue to keep going. So that's a small win for me. Or maybe it's a big win. It's a pretty big thing actually, because I've been putting all of this together for so long. So I released one of the my first little mini teasers for Haizhen, and the people that have seen it and have reacted to it, I'm eternally grateful, and I'm also okay with the fact that it's probably not going to get very many views, um, but it's something that I can point to, and then now it's for me to kind of reflect on, of like one of those things is like, okay, like I've put it out there, and because I've put all this work and time into it, does it make sense for me just to stop there, or is it something that I need to like just put out into space, and not really for any particular um, outcome, but just to keep sharing it out there, of saying, hey, like I've made this thing, like this is the thing that I've been working on. um, And funny enough, I think like making these videos, like I'm like 14 days in, I haven't shared a single one at this point. But having this, having these come together has been helpful for the practice of just doing, of just taking the action, of making, of participating in the process, rather than sitting back and thinking that I'm at the mercy of everyone else. Like, oh, like I'm just me. I'm like nothing's coming of anything of this. Um, I actually watched a interesting, a really um, like a video, Chris Hormozy, I think yesterday. Like he's a marketer and he has a big following on YouTube and everything. And he was talking about how he started, and it's basically like a 10-year process that he had done. And it's like intellectually, like I understand that. Today's also like the day for me. Like this is the week, this whole period is the week after finishing my MBA. Like finishing all the classes and all of that, and like handing in my final assignment, and it's just kind of like just slowly kind of like settling in that it's over. And there's been kind of a lot of like feelings around that, and that's okay. It's like just I guess my point is it's like that was 18 months to get through, to create something, to do something and um, this achieve this milestone. And while the state that I'm in now is like, the quote unquote end goal of where I was hoping to be 18 months ago, at the same time, this whole thing was a process, like the whole time, like moving through it. It's it's a process that continued to develop. And funny enough, one of the things that was repeated often was to trust the process, which is to show up day after day, do the readings, have the discussions, attend the meetings, put in the work, put the deliverables together. And while each and every piece of the puzzle um, was work, it was an investment of time, of energy, um, and lots of other things. It all comes together to kind of make the state of like being finished. And at the same time, being finished is almost like this little like moment in time that just kind of like gets moved through. And on the other side of it, it's kind of easy just to sit back and think, what happened? Like, what literally in the actual world just happened? So, this is another checkpoint on that journey for me towards putting Haizhen out there. And I think one of the big things for me is to understand that the state that I'm, the end state, that end goal, or that thing that I think I'm looking for is ultimately defined by me. It's not going like the success of all of this is not defined by another person. It's not to be defined by like traditional measures of success, because that will probably look different. I think that is it like what will all success ultimately look like? And I think that while there are metrics um, like the number of likes, the number of shares, and the number of subscribers, and all of these things, and practically like it doesn't mean necessarily very much. I think they're indicators to like maybe the type of reach or impact that you can have. And at the same time, one of the interesting things that I've been realizing for the way that I operate is that the impact that I end up having is oftentimes like invisible or not directly like observable until like much later on. And that kind of speaks to a message that I received from an old coworker, one of my former employees, about just a really nice message that just was kind of like, hey, here's a quick update that like, you know, based on something that you had said to me, I took these actions, and like this is just what's happening right now. Like, and that was really helpful, you know. Um, and I kind of like noticing this pattern like as I go. So it's almost like for me, success is to move through the world and to move through the world in the way that I need to interact with people in the way that I need to, and to trust that the wake that I leave is going to have those ripple effects out into the world. So as I'm sitting here and like making this video and creating this like this state of the state of being that's kind of like almost like locked into a ones and zeros into this digital video thingy. Um, it's also like a moving process, like the timeline of this video, right? Like now we're towards the end of the video versus 20 minutes ago when we were at the start. And when this video stops, the process doesn't stop. I'm going to continue existing in one way or another, whether it's in my own experience in reality that you won't be seeing on this video, or whether it's like, you know, whenever like you see this or listen to this or come across this, um, I will be I will be where you are.